Welcome back to Fast Money. We've got a Bitcoin alert. Bittrex, a cryptocurrency exchange, is working to allow users to buy more than 200 different crypto coins in U.S. dollars. Here's why this is a big deal. Before Bittrex struck this agreement, the only coins you could directly buy with U.S. dollars were the ones traded on Coinbase. So that's less than 1% of the 1,500 or so coins out there in the universe. To buy the other 99%, you have to convert your U.S. dollars to Bitcoin first. And that means the altcoins have been closely correlated to Bitcoin, and that means that they may begin to move independently of Bitcoin now. You can see that in this chart from Fundstrat. Their aggregate crypto index, which tracks a total of 630 cryptocurrencies, has moved almost exactly in tandem with Bitcoin. And Beeks thinks this is a huge game changer. Why?
I think, well, it's huge because you can now differentiate between cryptos, and that correlation might break, or at least has that potential. So you think about the mechanics of it. If you want to buy altcoins, you go to Coinbase, you buy your Bitcoin, it goes up a little bit, you get excited, you say, hey, what's this Bittrex thing? Let me go buy something there. Well, the only way to get money into that up till now has been to send Bitcoin over there. Therefore, there's this tight correlation between. Now you're starting to price things in U.S. dollar. You can send U.S. dollar directly to Bittrex. That allows you to look at the whole universe, and you don't have to necessarily be tied and priced to Bitcoin, which changes the game, in my view.
Well, for more on this, we're bringing in the founder and CEO of Bittrex himself, Bill Shihara. He's joining us from Seattle. Bill, welcome to Fast Money. Great to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
So, the reason why a lot of coins haven't been listed on Coinbase is because there's this thorny issue of whether it's a security or a commodity. And I'm wondering, how have you gotten past that in listing a lot of these different coins out there?
Well, for us, it's primarily about innovation. That's what we're excited about. And so we have a very rigorous review process to go and find the most innovative blockchain projects out there in the world. And part of that process is not just making sure that the technology and the business models are innovative. We also screen and look at the founders and principals behind the project. And then we also put them through a compliance review. And we work with their US-based lawyers as well as independent lawyers who double-check to ensure that it's something that we feel comfortable trading in the United States.
So you're actually doing the due diligence on every single altcoin that you're listing, that you're making available to buy in fiat?
That's right.
Okay. And in terms of who can do this right now, who can do it, and what's the ultimate goal, Bill?
So right now we started with a small select number of launch partners. And the idea right now is in this phase, we're stress testing our system. We're working with the banks very closely to ensure that they can process the fiat deposits and withdrawals, that also the engine itself that we use to trade is going to be able to properly handle the load. But the idea is to then expand out to as many markets as possible on Bittrex, as well as expand it so that every customer on Bittrex will be able to have access to US dollar trading.
Hey, Bill, it's BK. So I'm curious, your industry, this industry itself is a global asset class, and you have global competitors that don't have the same rules and regulations that you have to comply to. How do you, as Bittrex, compete against places like Binance or some of the Asian exchanges?
Well, for us, we have this commitment to compliance. And we think that solving the regulatory puzzle in the United States really unlocks a lot of capital that really can't trade on a foreign exchange that doesn't have proper AML KYC controls or proper compliance. So we think we can actually add tremendous amounts of value as we're working with the regulatory agencies in the United States.
Do you have to conform to the rules of a securities exchange then, Bill? Which, I would imagine a lot of exchanges would want to avoid because it's a lot more paperwork.
Well, right. So, today we trade things that are definitely not securities. That's one of the things that we screen for. We want to ensure that these are utility tokens that we think are commodities.
Is Ripple, where do you stand on XRP then?
Well, we don't like to speak about any individual token because as an exchange, we like to remain market neutral. But Ripple is one of the tokens that trades on our exchange. And it has gone through review and ongoing review.
Hey, Bill, another question from BK here. I'm curious, when I look at what you're doing there, it reminds me very much of the early E-Trades in Schwab's. Do you think of yourself more of a kind of a retail hey, I don't want to use the word brokerage, but let's call it a retail portal to this ecosystem that ultimately you'll look more like a brokerage firm rather than an exchange?
Well, I mean, Bittrex has a lot of different services that we provide, so we're looking at expanding both the retail footprint of our exchange as well as the institutional trading side of it. I think you need to, for those of us who are thinking about the ecosystem long term, we really need to go out there and embrace the widest number of participants possible.
All right, Bill, we're going to leave it there. It's great to speak with you and hope you come back to Fast and update us on how this is going. Bill Shihara of Bittrex. Let's try this. Oftentimes you talk about the cryptocurrencies themselves in terms of up or down or when to buy or whatnot, but this is really the picks and shovels sort of approach to covering this space.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think that last question is important for our viewers in a way, too, because, last year I opened a Coinbase account along with 15 million other people. So the question about retail was really interesting. That BK would say to me, hey, look at this one. This is kind of interesting. And then I had to go to Bittrex. And they actually didn't have a mobile app. And it was a little clunky. And I had to move Bitcoin over there to buy another token. So the idea that he focused on, a platform that was kind of like institutional looking, and now they're thinking about retail, I think that's where you're going to get the most innovation. When you talk about, are you the Schwab or the E-Trade of the 90s, giving people access to this stuff, you need competition. You need to push each other. And we're going to have the best tools to kind of manage, I think, risk in this.
It was interesting to hear him talk about due diligence and doing due diligence on every token and making sure tokens are utility tokens. That has been a big hang-up for the other exchanges.
It has been, and it's unclear at this point in time.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, I've worked with Bittrex on some of these coins, and they do a pretty good job of really vetting some of these out. There's some other exchanges out there that you can get on. If you just give them enough money, you'll get on the exchange. In my experience, that is not the case at all with Bittrex, and they've done a really good due diligence job.